Former President Donald Trump can notch yet another loss onto his belt over the Mar-a-Lago documents scandal. Yes, it's when he had stole plenty of documents from the White House and brought him to Mar-a-Lago. So they had, of course, later on, the FBI had found massive dumps.
Big massive dumps.
Of documents at Mar-a-Lago that he shouldn't have had, that he should have returned, and that he had plenty of chances to return, decided not to. So now the latest update to this is from the New York Times, and they report that Judge Beryl A. Howell, Chief Judge of the Federal District Court in Washington, had ruled that the former president's lawyers now have to hand over the names of the private investigators, whom they had claimed conducted searches of Trump's properties for additional classified documents. So, yes, they said, look, give us names. So here's the interesting thing. They allowed Trump, instead of having the FBI go in and search his different properties, not just Mar-a-Lago, but different properties, they said, well, look, we know that's going to be embarrassing if we send in the feds, and then you're going to complain, you're going to bitch, you're going to cry, whine, moan, whatever. Okay, let's avoid that. Let's let you hire somebody. All right, just go ahead and hire some people to poke around your property, see if if they can scare up anything that you forgot. Any of these documents that really don't belong to you. Now, I think that's another way, of course, of being super, super friendly and cordial to the former president, who has been nothing more than, well, other than obstinate and just a general jackass about the whole situation. But anyway, they're allowed this, leeway to hire them. And then, lo and behold, these investigators find 2 additional documents that were classified and immediately return them. So now Jack Smith, who has taken over this investigation, on behalf of the Justice Department as special counsel, he's like, all right, now we would like to know who those investigators are. Please give us the names. So now, Trump's lawyers don't want to do it, obviously, and they come up with a bunch of different reasons why they don't want to give up the names. So now, according to the Times, the Department of Justice just wants the names so they can question them personally on their findings. Now, why would they want to do that? Well, the paper notes that the fact that the Justice Department sought a formal order for the investigators' names suggests an increasing breakdown in trust between prosecutors investigating the documents case and Mr. Trump's legal team. Okay. So, I wonder why there's a breakdown of trust. No trust here. Could it be the fact that his legal teams consistently lied about returning the documents? Over and over and over again? Again, Trump had every chance he could to return the stolen documents, and they have failed again and again and again and again and again and again and again to do so. Yes, that's why there's no trust. And maybe this is also an escalation of Jack Smith's investigation into Trump. Of course, that's going to ultimately still end up in the desk of, or I should say the decision should end up, or will end up, being Merrick Garland's to make, whether or not they're actually going to indict Trump. But there is, seemingly Smith has been very efficient. He's been escalating and working very quickly to try to gather as much evidence as he can, as quickly as he can. And so that is interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. And so, yes, this latest thing, having these investigators question, I think is interesting. Now, why would they want to find out? Well, maybe they want to ask them if there are places that they're instructed maybe not to look. Or places where they just didn't look. So you get that information out, and if there is something that suggests that they were hoping to steer these investigators away from certain areas where other hidden documents or possibly hidden documents could be, well, then that would be a tip-off to do maybe even more of a, or just add in another raid by the FBI. It is incredibly possible. I don't know. But if that ends up to be the case, well, then Jack Smith, his job is going to be real easy in finding evidence of obstruction. Because again, they are trying to find and prove that Trump had willfully retained these documents, these records, as well as obstructed the government's efforts to try to retrieve them. And I think there is a very good case to be made on at least the obstruction part.